All right, so now I'd like to take a moment and ask Michael Gama to come to the stage for a mission moment. As we said earlier, we always want to keep our mission front and center in every way, in every event we do. So Michael, come forward. There he is right here. Big round of applause for him.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mike Gama, and I'd like to thank you all for letting me rant to you for a few minutes. I promise there will be no hokey pokey or anything like that. I promise. In November 2010, I retired from a law enforcement career after 20 years. At the time, I was a healthy 40-year-old. I had a wonderful, beautiful, and brilliant wife who some of you know was way out of my league. She's sitting right here in front of us. I'll pay for that later. I had 3 wonderful, amazing kids who for some reason still thought that Dad was kind of cool. And so in my eyes, I was living the dream. The problem was that my eyes were blind. They were blind to blood cancers and the hazards that they pose to people. If I had been given the word leukemia and a spelling bee, I'd have sat down in about 2 seconds. I had no idea about blood cancers. But I received a crash course in these horrible sicknesses on Saturday, January 15th, 2011. My wife and I were getting ready to go out to dinner, and our doctor called. She had the results from a recent blood test. She told me that I was in the advanced stages of acute myeloid leukemia and that my prognosis wasn't good. After what seemed like an eternity of learning that I was probably not going to make it out of the hospital, I hung up the phone with her and turned around to see my 3 kids. And the image was surreal because they were watching Jim Carrey, The Mask. It's a hysterical movie that we always watch, right? But instead of laughing at Jim Carrey when he had fallen on the ground, was ripping his face off the pavement, my kids were looking at me with terror in their eyes, and Melissa was crying. I told the kids that Dad was really sick, and that I was going to be going to the hospital for an awfully long time. But with their love and support and my stubbornness, we were going to get through this sickness one way or another as a strong family. Around week 4 of my first hospital stay, I was in really bad shape. I was sleeping about 20 hours a day and dealing with fevers and hadn't been eating for about a week. And one afternoon I woke up to find my mother by the side of my bed, trembling and sobbing. She told me that she had been praying that this horrible disease would leave my body and take hers instead. And I did what most men would do in that situation. I jumped on the diversion train. I told her that this was nothing but a really bad flu, that at 40 years old I needed a new challenge to fight, and that the chemo that they were giving me was actually fertilizer, and I was actually going to be taller than 5'8" when I got out of the hospital. Now here's something that I certainly did not know. LLS not only provides patient assistance, they wrote us a wonderful check that we were able to pay some bills with. And they fund research that everyone knows. But they also lobby to get these new advancements to patients quicker. In my case, a new transplant protocol was approved by the FDA in approximately half the time it normally takes that administrative agency to approve things. It was approved on May 24th, 2011 to be exact. I was admitted to Dana-Farber on May 28th, and I was offered this brand new treatment. During my first week at Dana-Farber, I found out that my mom's prayers had unfortunately been answered. She was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia also with the same horrible prognosis. She was rushed to Rhode Island Hospital the very next day and started induction therapy while I was prepping for my transplant. LLS's lobbying helped save my life, and I was released with a brand new blood type from a donor and these new leukemia-hunting T cells on June 20th, 2011, because of this amazing protocol. I'm an example of just how far medical science has gone with the help from LLS. Unfortunately, my mom's transplant began to fail in the spring of 2012. She passed away on February 8th, 2013 from a relapse of AML. My mom, Sue, is an example of how far medical science still needs to go. With my diagnosis and my mom's untimely death, I've changed the course of my life. I love being on this bandwagon with each and every one of you. We will raise money and we will raise awareness of these diseases. We will help find a cure, and then we will ensure access to these cures. Cancer ends with me, guys. Thank you.